Hello HD racing fans. See, I was in the middle of doing some pushrod adjustment or hydraulic tappet adjustments to my bike, and I brought my camera out and I thought I'd make a video to try to go over a little bit, because it can be such a tough job and kind of confusing for a lot of people, the hydraulic tappet adjustment on these Harley Sportsters and big butt rigs. But this is a 2002 Sportster. It's a race bike, but I have the S&S premium hydraulic tappets in the bike with the H2 limit travelers that turn it into solids after 4,000, 5,000 RPMs. So I'm just going to try to shoot this short little video to try to explain it, give you another resource. So when you go to possibly adjust your hydraulic S&S tappets, it might give you a little more insight. What I did first is I took the spark plugs out, and I brought the rear cylinder tappets down to the lowest point. And you can kind of tell because my piston is at top dead center on the rear cylinder. And when those two tappets are at its lowest point, you can attempt to make the adjustments. So the push rods were loose, and what I did was brought them up until you just feel them tight so they wouldn't turn anymore. And then I gave them, it kind of varies depending on the threads, but it can depending on what hydraulic tappets you're using. But I brought these up 22 turns, 22 flats. So right around 4 full turns. And that can kind of vary. People say 20, 22, 24. I brought mine to 22. And then I'm letting them bleed down. Now, bleed down, these tappets were in this bike, so they were full of oil and the bike was running. And I let them bleed down or just sit there tight after I gave it the 22 turns. It's been 20 minutes now, so they should be fully bleed down. Now, if I didn't have the limiters in there, you could just feel it, turn them, and if they were loose, then you could just tighten down the lock nut to the bottom, not the top, the bottom tappet, and you'd be okay. But since these have the limiters in there, then I have to make another adjustment. I had to kind of have you come in on the middle of this video because I had to wait. I waited 20 minutes for the tappets to bleed down. So they should be well bled down now, and since they have the limiters, the H2 limiters, they won't turn. So what you're supposed to do then is turn them back until they loosen, and they suggest it might be anywhere, depending on how tight you've made it, from 2 to 4 turns. So flats, we'll see. So here's 1 flat, 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats, 5, 6, 7, 8. Took me about 10 flats for that one to come back to be loose, where you can turn it around with your fingers. Not quite. There we go. Well, we'll try the exhaust and see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it only took 8 on that one, and I can turn it. It took 10 on the front one. That was more than what the normal instructions that you're going to see, but they are loose, and that's where they say they should be. So I'm going to say that's it. And then with those limiters, they say you should back it off 1 full turn, so it would be 6 additional flats. So we'll back it off 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do the same with the intake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and that should be it. So then I'm going to grab onto the bottom tappet adjuster, and you've got to grab the top one too. So you got to play kind of a juggler's. Might not have it. Oh, I got the wrong wrench here. You grab the top and the bottom nut, and you hold them with one hand. And then you go to that locking nut, and you bring that locking nut down on the lifter top, as opposed to up. There we go. Do the same for the intake. There we go. So that should do it. I see my block is a little loose. Well, I'll leave that be for now. What I do is I take some wire and I string it up along the top to hold these. These are adjustable pushrod tubes that I put in, and this is a zipper adjustable tubes with this kit. This is a 2002 Sportster. But in order to show you what I had done on the rear cylinder, let me bring the camera over, and I'll go through that process on the front cylinder to kind of show you what I do. And that way it'll complete the video for you. So first off, you got to take the loosen up the covers. And then I'll take my wires. I string them over the top of the rocker boxes. You want to be careful not to scratch stuff up if you can. And I put a little hook in the bottom of that. Pull them over. Give them a little bend so they keep that push rod cover up. Do the same to the front exhaust. It's kind of hard working when you got the carburetor on the bike and all, but it's, there we go. So now, if you watch closely, I'm going to go to the rear wheel, and I've got the wheel off the ground, and I've got the bike in fifth gear, but I'm going to go to the to top dead center of that front cylinder and bring both of those tappets to the bottom. So should be about one half revolution. Take a look and see where I'm at. Still high. Still not there. Looks like I might almost be there, so then I'm going to go over and I'm going to check I put a screwdriver or something down my spark plug hole, make sure it's really clean. Make sure I'm at top dead center with that, and then I'll know I'm on the flat. Yep, I'm there. So, okay, now I can start my adjustment process. Hold on to the bottom one. I'll adjust it up until I don't feel any play. They're still, I'm not at the right spot. Another way you can tell on what I just did, I looked at the opposite tappet, and if that is all the way up, like it appears that my intake is all the way up, that would mean that your intake in the opposite cylinder is all the way down. I was at top dead center, but I was on the wrong, like either the exhaust or the compression stroke, so now I'm in the right place. So I can start making my adjustments. And first you have to take all the play out of this push rods. I had play in them. You have to tighten them up. Till they just come tight. And then you'll see right there, there's about 1/8 of an inch of the thread that's showing there on the adjuster. So I'll do the same to the exhaust. Just so it tightens so it won't turn anymore. There we go. the same there. So now this time I used 22 or 24 the last time to bleed them down, but this time I'm only going to go 20 because then I had to take out 8 to 10 turns. So this time I'll only go 20 for the bleed down. 20 flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And it slipped, so I gave it another half turn. So I'll do this one 22. 20 flats. One. Alright, that's just fitting a little funny. All the way down to the bottom one. We'll just use this other wrench. Two, 3. Oh, it's fitting funny. I'm going to get a different wrench. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You know, I had some difficulty there, but that's the way it goes. I think I'm just gonna post this video with those difficulties because this can be kind of a little difficult or frustrating process that sometimes you got to do over. Certainly I have. So now I'm going to wait about, oh, they say at least 10 minutes or so to bleed down. I wait 20 just to be safe, or you can wait longer. Now I'll let them bleed down, and since these have the limit travelers in them, they turn into solids at 5,000 RPMs. After they bleed down, I'm going to back them off until they turn freely, and then you back it off one full turn, and then you tighten down the lock nuts and you're good to go. Now if these didn't have the limit travelers in them, you would, after it bled down, you would feel them and try to turn them around, and if they turn freely, you just lock the nut down. So there's another resource for how I do my tappet adjustment. Good luck. Please, you can leave comments or ask me questions. I try to get back with everybody. Sometimes it takes me a little while, but I would appreciate if you would sub my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Bye now.